Happy Friday, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on Up North Live Unscripted at 6:30. We are starting off with weather because most of northern Michigan actually saw some wintry weather today. Some snow was falling, making some road conditions a little iffy this evening. So, Joe, if folks are going to be traveling for the weekend, maybe tomorrow, do you think things will get any better, or do we have more snow on the way?
Well, tomorrow will kind of be between systems, so it'll be a little better tomorrow. Although I have seen a couple reports, a couple accidents tonight, so the roads are a little slippery tonight across northern Michigan. If by chance you have, you're watching and then you're heading out for, your Friday evening. But we'll see a little improvement on Saturday. But then Sunday, Maya, we're going to get some snow in here again. So, kind of January-like weather. So we'll talk about that, and we'll take a look too into next week coming up a little later.
Alrighty, thank you, Joe. And we are going to start off with continuing our conversation on the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles County in California. And while there are many different organizations that have stepped up to help fight the fires and help the people in California, the Salvation Army is always prepared to help those in need during any type of emergency. Now, the Traverse City Salvation Army says, although Michigan was not called to help with the California wildfires, they have nationwide emergency disaster services. And the Los Angeles Salvation Army is on the scene helping those impacted by the wildfires. But Salvation Armies across the entire country are still prepared to come help if needed. The Traverse City Salvation Army says every single Salvation Army around the entire country is equipped with food, water, blankets, and they're able to be ready to go to provide those things and to provide comfort if people need it.
The Salvation Army in the United States has a very, very strong emergency disaster service preparation team, and that is nationwide. We actually have a local team here. We have a canteen, so if there are fires or there's an emergency locally, we can reach out and help with our canteen and our emergency disaster team. But right now, even though the fires are happening in California, the effort to help those folks is nationwide.
And Envoy Irwin says that while Michigan is too far to be called in to bring their equipment, the best way for people to help is to donate. We have much more information on our website, UpNorthLive.com. But let's welcome in our guest now. So this is Nicole Gaston Ketchum. She lives in Los Angeles, but Nicole, you were originally from northern Michigan?
Yeah, I grew up in Traverse City, Michigan.
So how long have you been in the LA area?
Since '99.
Okay, wow. And your area, has that been impacted by any of these wildfires?
No, other than smoke. And just everybody knows somebody who's lost their house or apartment. Everyone, Los Angeles is huge. And to just know that we all, like my husband is a teacher at the high school here in Culver City. And there's like 2 teachers that have lost their homes. And this is way out in Altadena and again, up in the Palisades. I'm an actor out here. One of my favorite casting directors, she lost her home in Altadena. And if any of you follow me on Facebook, she's the one that even took me and Mark's profile picture that I still use. She took it during the lockdown. Just like a kid I was coaching, their family, they lost their home. So it's just like to imagine the massive population that we have, and to know, I just rattled off like 4 or 5 people, and if I dig even a little deeper,
and
it's bad.
Oh yeah, it's devastating. It's one thing to also see these articles, all the pictures and videos, but I'm sure it's a whole nother thing to see all these things happening in areas that you call home and areas that you are so familiar with. What has that been like for you?
Well, it's really surreal. What's happened is, again, the scale of how big Los Angeles is, in our community in Culver City, we did shut down. All the schools have been shut down for the last 2 days all over the Los Angeles area, but in some ways we really didn't need to, other than the air quality. So we're living our lives as it's going along, because we have our little communities, Culver City or up in Glendale or in the Valley. But then you have people in these segments where an entire, what would be the size of Traverse City is decimated. Or like Kalkaska or something. Imagine like because there's so many people here. So it's surreal because like I can go to the gym today in Culver City, but then I travel and they're only 10 miles away from us, just 10 miles up north to Malibu, to Palisades. And if you think about it again, in relation to if you follow like entertainment news, you think like, I mean, you can rattle off like Billy Crystal, John Goodman, Anthony Hopkins, Mandy Moore, whoever played Jack on This Is Us too. His Malibu house no more. I mean, those are celebrities, but that gives you a sense of like, wow, how many people have lost their homes.
Right. And since sorry, go on.
Oh, and the Palisades, yes, they have the more celebrities, so we're learning about that. But in Altadena, those are homes that were passed down to kids. Those are like people that, working class people that bought those properties in like the 90s or late 80s. And, and this was their retirement. And luckily, you probably know that a lot of people had their fire insurance wasn't extended. But it has been restored to 2026 for those people. So that's good because I mean, those people would have really lost anything because insurance had pulled out just like last month or last couple months.
Right. So it's always good to hear some good news with all the devastation happening there in California. But since you have been in the LA area for 25, 26 years, have you ever seen any sort of weather event like this before?
Oh, Lord, no. No. I mean, I came just later since the Northridge earthquakes that were pretty bad. And we've had fires, but usually they were like way up north, and we would hear about them, would be sad, and, and we would, very tragic and upsetting, but never where it was like in an urban area.
Yeah.
Never where you had the coastline in Malibu and like all of these restaurants that we just know that's always been there, all wiped out. The ocean is right there, and all along, all of like a strip of land, like how the embers flew. And we've never seen such gusts of Santa Ana winds. Santa Ana winds are warm winds. It's almost like when we have day effect snow here, we have Santa Ana winds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a weather pattern thing. And in those Santa Ana winds, they're really warm. These were gusts, like a hurricane gusts, like close to a hurricane. So imagine warm air, and those embers were flying, and they would just catch fire over here, catch fire over there. Once it started in the Palisades, it was a backyard. It was an accidental fire in the backyard. It wasn't an arson there. It was just somebody accidentally, and I don't know the actual specifics, but that's where they say it started. So that just made it spread, and it was surreal how warm and gusty. Like we actually we opened a window a little bit. We were afraid like the window was gonna like blow in. So that's what made it happen like that.
And then, growing up in northern Michigan, sure, we have our snowstorms every now and then. A couple years ago, we had the Gaylord tornado. So every now and then, some pretty crazy storms, but sounds like nothing like what you folks are experiencing in Los Angeles right now.
No, I mean, it's like like my daughter never really has been able to experience a snow day. And so she had like this fire day, but it's just like in my mind, I'm thinking, my God, on a snow day, yeah, there could be accidents and things like that. But yeah, on a fire day, it's like homes, and it's just awful.
And I know there's a lot of folks all around the country who want to help in any way they can. For folks watching here in northern Michigan, do you know of any ways that we can help?
You guys mentioned the Salvation Army, and I always that is like the most trusted institution. If you go like on my Facebook page or whatever, you see some GoFundMe's. But I think kind of keeping it to those trusted places to donate. Anything with the firefighters here, they're just incredible. That's the other thing. Can I just say one demystifying thing?
Yeah.
when they're talking about the water hydrants not being whatever, I there's a lot of rumors going around, a lot of finger pointing, which is sad that there's anything political going on. But for fires, those are for urban areas. For fires that are wildfires, really the only way to get them is to come from the air and drop water down. They can do what they can, but that's like hand-to-hand combat in an army for those firefighters to do it. But it's the overhead, and they're incredible. The dropping water and such for the wildfires.
And I know since we're kind of still in the thick of things, it's hard to even think about recovery. But how long do you think it will take to rebuild all of these communities?
I thought about that, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's like, especially in the Palisades, it's like everything. So I have no idea. I mean, that was like one of my favorite places to go hike, and there's a beautiful theater there, the Will Rogers. It's just, I don't know.
Is there anything else that you want to mention, Nicole, about what you are seeing, your experiences in LA?
No, I mean, other than it's been a really, really hard few years. We're an industry town. We're like Detroit, but it's movies. And between the strikes and COVID and the contraction, them pulling back, we were just starting to, like, this year we were like, stay alive till 2025. And I just seen like breakdowns and things, like business was starting to pick up. And so just, if you can donate and just, pray for us. And, a lot of the guys, there's a lot of guys like in Altadena that were crew that are like the gaffers and, the cameramen and everything. They've had to already, they've been through so much the last couple of years, losing their 401ks and everything. And to have this happen, it just, actors were used to being out of work and, and just scrambling. But it's like one thing after another for the business here too.
Well, Nicole, our hearts certainly go out to you and everyone else in LA County right now. And thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your experiences. And stay safe out there. And as Nicole mentioned, there are plenty of resources. I know sometimes being so far away from a disaster like this, you do feel a little hopeless, like there's not much that you can do to help. But as Nicole mentioned, there are different ways to donate. We do have links on our website. Nicole mentioned some different GoFundMes on her Facebook page. So if you can, I would definitely consider donating and helping out in any way you can. But we are running out of time. So unfortunately, we had to skip our next story, which would have flowed with our question of the day a little better. Right now, there's just no good way to make this transition. It's so hard to go from talking about such a tragic event to then just turning the page into, oh, let's talk about our fun question of the day. So, like I said, no good transition. Sorry about that, folks. But our question of the day today is related to New Year's Eve. So typically, New Year's resolutions, I should say. So typically, today is the day where most people will stop their New Year's resolutions. It's called National Quitters Day. So for our question of the day, we want to know, are you still on track with your New Year's resolution? Do we have that? Can we pull up our question of the day so people can vote? Back there, guys? Hearing some crickets. All right. Let's just skip the question of the day. We will take a look at that at the end of the show. But we are going to take a quick commercial break now, and we'll come back in just a few minutes. Our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix, will have much more on the forecast here in northern Michigan and what to expect this weekend. So stay with us.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Welcome back, everyone. It seems like this weekend we kind of have a snow sandwich. The snow is the bread, so we'll have some on the outsides on Friday and on Sunday, but in the middle, Saturday, not a whole lot of snow, right, Joe?
I kind of wondered where you were going with that. Nicely done. Snow sandwich. I like that. Let me take that one from you someday.
Go for it.
Yeah, you're right. We had a little messy weather today. Not only do we have a little snow, but it's also we've had some freezing drizzle too.
Yeah.
And the roads are a little slick. But tomorrow we'll get a little break, and then Sunday some more snow rolling in. So let's take a look. You can actually see the look at the freezing drizzle. It's not hard to find there in Traverse City and also Cadillac. Our two cameras are iced up tonight. Some snow on the ground there in Gaylord and Mackinac City. Traffic's moving over the Mackinac Bridge okay, but still a little bit messy in spots. It's chilly across the entire country. Well, I don't want to say the entire country, but look at New Orleans. It's only 45. Atlanta, Georgia tonight, 32. Up through Nashville. I mean, we're almost as warm as they are in those spots. Destin, Florida, there in the Panhandle, only 47. We had a pretty big storm system cross south of us. I know we had a little snow here today, but in areas they don't get a ton of snow. They've had some around Atlanta, parts of Arkansas, saw 14 inches of snowfall. Here's a little closer look at that. Messy weather tonight in the Carolinas, up into parts of Virginia this evening for those spots. Meanwhile, back in northern Michigan, the back edge of the snow is kind of moving out of here. But we're going to see some lake effect snow picking up near the lakeshore areas tonight. It's not going to be anything extreme. But as we take a look at Stormcast, you can see the snow kind of lining up near the lakeshore. That's around midnight tonight. And then there's tomorrow morning. Nothing widespread, but there still will be a few snow showers around in the morning into the afternoon, kind of tapering off. Pretty quiet, though, if you have plans tomorrow afternoon. And then here comes our next system Sunday, right there. And that should be a pretty steady snow most of Sunday. I don't think it'll be real heavy, but the roads could be pretty sloppy. There's the snowfall tonight through tomorrow. If you're in Sheboygan, you're not going to get much. Sault Ste. Marie either. A couple inches, maybe around Traverse City down toward Cadillac. And then we'll add on the snow that's coming in Sunday. And when we're all said and done here, by the end of the weekend, this is early Monday morning, we're looking at 2 to 4, maybe up to 5 inches in a couple spots. So that's kind of the total accumulation that we're expecting moving forward here. Here's our extended forecast. And a couple things to take away from this. There's the snow on Sunday. We really, for the most part, except for next Friday, stay below freezing. So we're not going to get a whole lot of melting out there. A little bit of lake effect snow Monday. Upper teens, low 20s Tuesday. That'll be the coldest day of the stretch early next week on Tuesday. And then snow showers kind of wind down. And look at next Friday. We'll see if this trend holds true. But 30s to around 40 degrees there, Maya, next Friday. So a little bit of a warm up there.
And before I let you go, Joe, we have a comment from Susan on Facebook. She says, "Hi, Joe. We are in Biloxi, Mississippi. Cold and rainy."
Yeah, it is. Well, we went there with our weather camera the other day, and it was in the 40s.
Yeah,
chilly even down there near the Gulf of Mexico.
Absolutely. All right, Thanks so much, Joe. Let's take one quick commercial break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Sports Director Harrison Beebe. Stay with us. Let's turn things over to sports director Harrison Beebe, who is live in our content center. And Harrison, seems like you've had a pretty busy Friday.
Yeah, about halfway through a typical busy Friday here at Up North Live. Sports being my job, and when the sports happen, you kind of got to check them out. And a lot of, specifically hockey, I was going to say sports, a lot of hockey going down at Center Ice Arena this weekend. 24 games over the course of 3 days. It's the Rick Dennewyth Memorial North-South Showcase. It's been going on for several years now. Rick Dennewyth used to be associated with the Bay Area Reps. The co-op that plays at Center Ice involves the Traverse City schools, some of the surrounding area schools on that co-op team. And this started as an idea to just bring teams north and south. That's why it's called the North-South Showcase. And they get teams from all over the state to play a part in this, and some pretty highly ranked teams as well. So this afternoon we saw Alpena take on one of the best in Division I, Alpena being a Division III school. So even though they dropped that one, it's a good opponent to play on your way to what they hope the Wildcats will be a good season. We saw Sault Ste. Marie jump out to a 2-1 lead on Clarkston. Clarkston, a big Division I program that's down near the Detroit area. That did not go so well for the Sioux. That was an eventual 8-2 win for Clarkston. But wall-to-wall hockey, it started at 9 this morning, and they're still going right now. The Bay Reps are playing right now. TC West is playing right now. TC Central has the nightcap coming up. It's about 8:30, but they're playing on the same sheet of ice that the Reps are, and the last game went late. 6 games are being played on each sheet of ice out there, Maya. So these games are kind of getting delayed. You kind of go with the flow, but they'll eventually get all 6 in, and then they'll have 10 more on the ice tomorrow. So a pretty cool event for high school hockey fans, and a great way to get a lot of teams. Travel hockey is such a big part of the industry for that sport. And a great way to bring all that talent together to measure up against each other.
Sure. So busy weekend for hockey across the entire state. How about basketball tonight? Busy night?
Another busy night. Unfortunately, with the hockey, a lot of our resources are sent to that. I'm going to be heading to the TC Central, TC West boys basketball game that's going to tip in just a few minutes here. Should be interested to see how the Trojans and Titans size up. A lot of people like their ability to compete this year in the Division I postseason, so we'll see how they do against each other. And the girls just wrapped up. I believe that was a win for the Trojans. Interesting fun fact for Traverse City Central: undefeated, the girls, in the Big North Conference, but they have yet to win a game. They're 0-5 out of conference.
Very interesting. All right, Harrison. Well, we look forward to seeing all your highlights tonight during Hometown Highlights at 11. Thanks so much for joining us. We are going to take one more quick break, but when we come back, we will check on our question of the day and those live results with us.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Today is known as National Quitters Day. Research shows that January 10th is a day that most people give up on their New Year's resolutions. So we wanted to know if you are still on track with your New Year's resolutions. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now or go to our website, UpNorthLive.com. But I love the results. 73% say, yep, still on track. 27% say no. At least you are honest, 27% of those voters. But that'll do it tonight for Up North Live Unscripted. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend, everyone.